Hello guys, LifeHackster here. Today, we will compare tracking cameras to dual lens 180 panoramic ones and see which one will be the better option for you. The one that has been popular lately are the auto tracking cameras like the Reolink Trackmix, Eufy SoloCam S340, and even Wyze has the Wyze Cam Pan V3. These cameras automatically tracks and follows you, so it can monitor a larger area with some caveats to it that I'll tell you later on. Next, we have the less popular, the dual-lens panoramic cameras like the Reolink Duos. I know Anki has a model too, and also Lorex just recently released one. They have two lenses side by side, basically two cameras in one body, and their footage is stitched into one, and can definitely monitor a wider horizontal area. Now, the basic premise of tracking and dual panoramic lens cameras are that they can monitor a wider and larger area compared to a regular camera. And you don't need to drop extra wiring for second or even a third camera. But I'll tell you some limitations, especially with tracking cameras. Now, the technology behind it is pretty cool, especially when seeing it in person when it tracks. But for security and reliability though, they might not be a good option for you. First, their detection is limited to what the camera sees for wired ones or where their PIR motion sensor is for battery-powered ones, which are also in front of the camera. So anything on the back or on the sides of the camera will not get detected. There are a few, and I think all of them are floodlight cameras though, like the Eufy Cam S330 and the newer E340, and I also tested the Ioso floodlight. And these cameras have out-of-view detection. They are wired cameras, but they also have PIR motion sensors on the sides that can detect movement behind the camera, and which the camera will pan to that area. But standalone tracking cameras like the Trackmix and the SoloCam S340 doesn't have the out-of-view detection, which technically limits the area that they can monitor. Next, tracking cameras will only detect one person at a time, and mostly they will stick to the person that was first detected. So if more than one person gets into the camera's field of view, the camera will follow just one person. Also, tracking cameras have moving parts. They are prone to wear and tear, and also have the occasional times that it will lose its initial set or home position. There is also the video quality when the camera tracks, and this is more apparent with cameras that have a low bitrate like the Wyze Cam Pan V3. You will get these motion artifacts or artifact trails. Now, this also happens when the camera is still, but when both camera and the subject moves, it exaggerates it. You also see this with higher resolution tracking cams like the Trackmix. When you pause while it's panning, especially from bright to dark areas or vice versa, its camera sensor is trying to catch up and adapt. And this is where you're going to see some pixelation artifacts. So comparing this to the dual lens panoramic view cameras, which I know they're not pretty to look at, but they are way more functional and reliable than tracking cameras. And I really hope more models, especially with Reolink, will come out soon. Now, this is the perfect camera setup if you can only install and wire for one camera. And with the release of the Duo 3 or Reolink 16 megapixel lineup, which each lens now has a 4K sensor, its footage is now way clearer, and now it rivals Reolink's regular 4K cameras. Also, because there are no moving parts, there is really nothing to break. Also, there's no camera movement, so the sensor doesn't need to adjust, so no pixelation. These cameras, like this Duo 3, is wired and uses camera-based detection, so its detection range is what the camera sees. Now, this is different with the battery-powered Duo, which uses a PIR sensor. But with the Duo 3, even if I'm on the extreme left of the camera, when I get in its field of view, I'll get detected. And the same thing when I'm on the extreme right. There is also another option. If you can wire or you can install two cameras, this might be the better setup. There are more models and types to choose from, and you can overlap the areas that it monitors. Just in case one gives out or gets vandalized, you'll have another one as a backup. Now, I'm not dismissing tracking cameras though. If you have an area where you most likely know where the traffic is going to come from, then you can set that area as the home or guard position. Then when a subject enters that area, then the camera will track them. Also, just by the looks of it, tracking cameras, especially at night with its lights on, are pretty good deterrent. Also, it is a pretty good secondary or as a backup camera. Anyways, comment below what are your thoughts about tracking security cameras. Do you like them or not? Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.